1-0 to the Arsenal. I guess that's never sounded better than tonight.
Yeah, we needed a result today in a really difficult place. Our history wasn't very much in favor of any result today. It's so much at stake, and we are really happy with the results.
You were in the right place to score the goal that won the game. You seem to have found this goal-scoring form at just the right time. You've timed your run.
Yeah, it's a good timing for sure. I always want to impact the game, and yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot, and helping the team as well. Yeah, it's what you are a football player for. So yeah, hopefully next week again, and you never know what's going to happen.
Well, Erik, it's not the result that you wanted, but is there a big positive difference for you from Monday?
Yeah, it is, but still it's disappointing, and I want to win. And it doesn't matter who is on the pitch. We have to win every game, and when you wear this badge, you have to give everything, and yeah, the demand is win games.
And again, it was a makeshift defence, a patched-up defence. How important is it to get defenders back for these crucial last two games and the cup final?
We talk already all season and about this. You want to have players who are have the competences to play there. Now we have to play players there in positions they are not used to, and then it's obviously that they make mistakes.
How will you watch Tuesday? I'm sure you will.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch tomorrow's game as well, like we always do, and we know what we need.
I think the feeling after Monday was that you needed a performance today, even in defeat. Did you get that today?
Now, we have seen we were very competitive with Arsenal, one of the best teams in the league, with City and momentum, fighting for the league, for the title. And we have seen, I think we were on the same level across the game. So there we see, even when we're missing 7 start 11 players, potential start 11 players, we were in the game, and we could have a result.
Casemiro's had a difficult few weeks, taking a bit of stick. What did you make of his performance today, especially playing out of position again?
Yeah, but he can do that. On Monday, obviously, it was not his night, but it was collectively poor performance, and then everyone looks poor. But you can see he can play there in that position, and I think today he was in the right level.
He looked like maybe he had a point to prove, a player maybe with his pride slightly hurt by Monday.
Oh, absolutely. He's a winner. He hates to lose, and that also he has to bring that in the team, and that is what we expect from him.
There was 1 or 2 questions about the goal and whether he was too deep. But is that the way you need the defenders to be? Someone has to drop deep so you can play out from the back. Is that the reason he was probably slightly deeper than the rest of the back four?
No, he shouldn't be there in that moment. That is also obvious, and he knows that. But for the rest, as you see, it was a good performance from him.
What would you like to see different on Wednesday? Are you likely to have any of the injured players back?
I want to have the same attitude, and that is what we have to learn from the lesson against Palace. As a United player, you can't play like this. You can't play in this shirt with this badge, with this attitude. We need always the spirit as we had today. Today we had players on the pitch who took responsibility, and that is what we expect also from them in every game. So definitely also on the Wednesday night when Newcastle is coming over here.
Any chance of anyone back?
I don't know. And we have to be safe as well. We have also a cup final to play, and we can't risk players. We have to bring players back, but yeah, it's obvious we have so many problems, especially in the back line. We want to have players back, but also we have to do it with some common sense.
Well, I suppose, Martin, the most important thing from an Arsenal point of view is just to get the 3 points and get out of here. That's all that matters at this stage of the season.
Smash and grab. I think Arsenal, though, were more than that today. Really good professional performance. You know, if you want to be champions, we don't know if that can happen yet, but you're certainly in the mix. You've got to grind out these sorts of evenings, and thought they were immense, particularly at the back. So, you know, whenever you win here, it's sort of, you talk about titles, don't you? Certainly in my era. And maybe we're talking about it this year as well for this group.
And that is why I think post-match Mikel Arteta was so keen to stress the mentality of his team.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Maybe we were questioned last year. They didn't have the mentality to go all the way to the last game of the season. Now they do. It felt at times today, Mark, I was a wee bit nervy at times, but rightly so. At 1-0, anything can happen, a slip over, a mistake, and you know, Man United get back into the game. But I think overall they deserve to get the 3 points.
Those nerves are understandable, aren't they?
Well, of course they are. And you think of the history of this fixture, and I thought it was weighing a bit heavy on the team. They know if they can get the job done, the next one's Everton at home, put that pressure back onto Man City, and you could just feel that tension tingle in the air. And it was a long game for me. Watching when Arsenal went in front, it was nervy, but I just thought the way they were defending, those two central defenders were quite magnificent today.
And we'll come on to them in a little while. As far as the Arsenal goal is concerned, look, Casemiro will get hammered for being about 20 yards behind the play.
Yeah.
And you will do that as well, I'm sure, both of you. But there's a bigger picture to the Arsenal goal.
Well, I look at the build-up. The manager probably has to take a bit of blame as well, because you set your team up. One of the easiest things in training, I think, is your natural build-up, because we know Onana likes to play out from the back. So if you show the piece where he starts, he gets the ball back, and then you want to see what's the setup. I mean, Johnny Evans is the left-side centre. I'm not 100% sure where Johnny's going. He's kind of shuffling away to lose in midfield. I mean, the ball ends up at Dallo here now, Mark, at the end, but I don't think they're set up at all to play out. So then Onana's got an option to make. Does he go a bit longer, maybe to Highland? But he goes to the left back, Dallo, and he's facing the wrong way, and it's a cheap giveaway. It's a cheap giveaway, and then that's just the start of things to come. Again, you highlight Johnny Evans in the middle. Normally, you'd see a Pep Guardiola team, they sprint into a sort of left back position, and then Casemiro has dropped deep. Now Onana's got three options, you could say. I think you can see Wan-Bissaka at the bottom screen pointing to go long, because Arsenal have got the press on at this point, and they're just playing into their hands, a high press, and they lose the ball again. And now this is the goal. So you see Casemiro knocks it back. Now Johnny Evans, in my opinion, should drop deep at the left side. He's pointing to Dallo. Then he crosses over Amrabat, and it's all a mess. At this point now, Onana's not got very many options. So what he does, he goes long. They lose the ball, and obviously keep an eye on Casemiro. We know he's not a centre half, but at the same time, at any level of football, you have to sprint up and get in line with the rest of your back four. So he's so deep. Now Havertz is onside by a country mile, because Casemiro's nowhere near it. And now we take a look at Wan-Bissaka at the bottom of the screen as well. Trossard, he never gets across Trossard at all to get a block on to try and defend that back post, and it's all too easy for Arsenal.
Can I put a theory to you as a centre half, Martin, which is that it's irrelevant, isn't it, whether you're a centre half or not? If you're either a professional or amateur footballer, if you're that far behind, you have got to get out. Don't you?
It's schoolboy stuff, and it's remarkable. He's not a specialist central defender. We saw that against Crystal Palace the last time out.
But that's just not getting out.
Well, now there's got to be some energy, but there's not even any of the defenders urging him to get right up. Now, of course, the ball goes back in, and then Wan-Bissaka, look, it's awful defending. So they're the basics, and that's why we look to Ten Hag and we say, okay, what information are you stitching into the players? You've had a chance to reflect on the Palace game, where Casemiro, top player, but he's not a central defender. So change that. And I think the importance is the partnership of your central defenders. And Arsenal showed that today. If you've got strength in that position, then you've got a platform to build from.
And just before we get, I don't want to labour this point, but surely you don't need to be told by your manager to push up. I mean,
the thing about that goal, Mark, as well, if it was the last 10 minutes and he was leggy and he was tired, but it's 20 minutes into the game, so it's not like he's tired at that point. He should be sprinting up. But I think you said off here, at any level of football,
it's knowledge.
You've got to get up.
Desire, knowledge. Get out, join your colleagues, edge of the box, and then
basic. It's really, really basic. Even from a centre midfielder, a defensive midfielder, he should squeeze the pitch.
So much of Arsenal's success this season has been built on their defence, actually. Yes, they are thrilling going forward, but Saliba and Gabriel have played together 33 times this season. They are solid as a rock as a duo.
Yeah, Saliba and Arsenal lost this time last year in the run-in, and I think that partnership is really key. They've been immense, absolutely immense. Gabriel is sort of very physical player, and Saliba is that silky player at the back. And every time the ball went in, they cover each other really well. It's a real togetherness now. Look at Saliba there, seeing the danger. Saliba again, look, it's the vice-like. They just strangle you, suffocate the forwards. Again, they get bodies around Gabriel. I think they enjoy actually playing together and forming that partnership, and it really is starting to look special. This one's impressive. Saliba doesn't come out. He drops off. The cover's around him, and look how well that he deals with this. Never in danger, assured, and just gets rid of it. And then again here, for me, this is stepping in. This is the time. This is so classy. To see him travelling with the ball, Arsenal under a lot of pressure at that point. Again, the same situation, wants to go forward, doesn't want to go back to his keeper, and it just releases that pressure. And then I think they know that there's no way through. This one probably sums up Saliba best of all, who I think has been one of the players of the year. And look, he waits for his time, and then puts his weaker foot in, strikes just at the right time. Brilliant, really. And then Gabriel as well, not to be outdone. Look at the way he just swats.
Yeah.
Look at that.
You will both know the importance of a settled defensive partnership, whether it's in front of you like Shay or when you're part of it.
Yep. And for me, it's that, like, you could call it a diamond. I need my goalkeeper behind me, but obviously Declan Rice in front is sniffing out, putting out fires. I thought he also was immense, but they're such a platform for Arsenal to build on. And they get that defensive shield up, chappers. Everybody behind the ball, edge of the box. It's like the Thames barrier. We could have done with it here today. What's your local river up here, chappers?
It's the Manchester Ship
Well,
Canal,
there you go.
Martin.
We might get that
It's
in.
filling up at the minute.
You're not wrong. We better get out of here quick.
You might get thrown in it on the way out. You never know.
No, but he makes a really good point about that. You know, Raya's got the Golden Glove, obviously the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season, but them two centre-halves, unbelievable. And you mentioned Declan Rice. Let's not forget the job he does as well. And the only thing you say about Man United, they haven't had that. They've had so many different partnerships this year. 14 different partnerships. And Arsenal, the two main guys at the back have been kept fit. And what Martin just showed there, absolutely brilliant.
This roof's nearly as leaky as Manchester
I was going
United.
to say, I wouldn't expect shelter from the roof here at Old Trafford. So now it moves on to Manchester City and their game at Tottenham, and the pressure is back on them.
The pressure's on them, of course, chappers, but they've been there before. They've ran the race the last three times. Of course, they can make Premier League history by one of the 4 times. Of course, 4 times Premier League champions, never been done before. And watching the game yesterday at Fulham, they were so in control. I think I was more nervous actually watching than it seemed the players on the pitch. They just oozed confidence. They just knew the goals were coming. I mean, Guardiola was brilliant at left back. He scored a couple of goals and just.
You're making it sound like it's no problem.
Well, it is no problem. It feels like, I even met some Man City fans yesterday on the way down. It was like they're more nervous about Fulham, and then like Fulham just got swatted out of the way. And now, obviously, people looking at the run-in, the toughest game everyone sort of said was Tottenham away, second last game of the season. And can Tottenham do their favours Arsenal a big favour?
That would be unique if they could do that. I was at Craven Cottage yesterday, and they did play like champions, but they're not champions. Arsenal are making it really very difficult. So it's over to Spurs. Let's see if they can do us a favour.
They obviously don't have a hurdle to get over in the same way that Arsenal did here. So that changes, as Shay says, because they've been there, done it. That does slightly change their mentality.
But also they're not relying on anybody else. They win all their games. They know they're champions. So we're now relying for somebody else to slip up. Ironical, the last 3 games of the season for City are against London clubs. So let's see this West Ham to come as well. But Arsenal, the most important thing is Arsenal making this difficult for City, and that Pep's not sitting there with a bottle of red wine tonight as a champion. Arsenal are taking it right to the wire.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say, when I was a kid at Blackburn, they won the league, and I remember the last game of the season they went to Anfield and Liverpool beat them 2-1. And I think Jamie Redknapp scored a free. Didn't know to celebrate, and the crowd as well was all really quiet within Anfield. It'll just be interesting to see what the atmosphere is like on Tuesday night.
It will. Right, let's show you the first set of goals from yesterday.
He's not the only person connected with Arsenal who was suddenly finding a love for Tottenham. Tim Sherwood. This is the first time since 98-99, when Tim played on the final day for Tottenham against Manchester United, that Arsenal have taken it to the last day of the season, when they won it in 02 and 04. It was already wrapped up by then. Manchester, just a couple of stats for you. Manchester United have lost 19 games in all competitions, which is the most for 45 years. Arsenal have now won more games in a season since 1970-71, when they won the old First Division title. So they've won more games than the Invincibles did, and any of Arsene Wenger's teams. They've won 27 games this season. That was quite an average game. Do you think Arsenal approached it the right way? Because Liverpool, we talked about this on an eye off air, got involved in a bit of a chaotic game with Manchester United. I think Arsenal were worried about leaving gaps if it were that sort of match.
Yeah, I think it was important to score, obviously. Once they go ahead, I think it completely changed his mindset. I think Mikel was adapted recently in the last couple of seasons. I think he used to be hell-bent on, no, we need to control the game at all costs. But he's evolving as a manager. He's absolutely outstanding at the moment. And what he's done is decided, we have something, we'll protect it. They haven't got too many threats. I think it was a lack of respect, really, for Man United, because he knows they're not going to go open up. They have a few moments, but if we can keep them out there, and just when it needs to be kicked, we'll kick it. Saliba, Gabriel, outstanding. Even Tomiyasu and Ben White, quality. In front, Odegaard wasn't playing in their final third. He was, in there with Declan, and just patrolling and breaking the game up. They've really frustrated Man United, and they just never had the quality to break them down. So I think the manager's turned the page over, I really do. I think he's learnt from last year there's no accusation levelled at them of bottling it this year. They take it to the last game.
You can't have bottled it if you take it to the last day.
It's just a shame they're up against the juggernaut of a team in Man City, but magnificent Arsenal, and I enjoyed that performance today. I really did. As a coach, when you look here, you think, okay, wasn't spectacular, wasn't the most entertaining game for the neutral.
Didn't need to be, did it?
But they got the job done. They're efficient now, Don.
Yeah.
They get the job done. They know how to get over the line. It's just a shame that it might be very difficult for them to win the league because of Man City.
You were a little bit more nervy than I was. But watching the game,
1-0's one. I mean, the point is that 1 goal ahead, you can have a refereeing decision, a deflection, a set piece, a corner, or whatever. Yeah. So, but there is an element of danger still, isn't there? There
is, but I got the impression watching Man United today, they could have been there for 3 hours. They wouldn't have scored. They haven't got any goal scorers on the pitch, and Arsenal were in that sort of state of mind where they thought, if we really push for the second goal, which is what we want and what the club wants and what the fans want, it can be chaotic. And that's where then Man United could try and hit you on the counter with Garnacho because of his pace. They wanted Arsenal to come out and really go at it.
And therefore leave spaces that they might be able to...
So as a player, where Tim's saying they're professional and patrolling, what you do is you just say to the opposition, you're going to have to do something spectacular to beat us, because Declan Rice, I guarantee you, Mark, it would have been one of them games where when the players got in afterwards, it would have been a relief, obviously, because of the scoreline and the win. Mentally, it would have been difficult because he got over the line. But physically, I bet you some of them players, Arsenal players, would have thought, could play another match. Because it wasn't hard for them. It wasn't difficult because they had Man United that way. And they thought, we're not going to open up. That's the last thing we're going to do. If we've got to beat you 1-0, we'll beat you 1-0. There wasn't probably one single Arsenal player, apart from Saliba, that was outstanding. No. The rest of them were just doing their job, ultra-professional.
Rest defence. That's what it was. It was like they were in the holes, they're good distances apart. There wasn't gaping holes where they get exploited. There was no room in behind for Garnacho.
Not getting done on transition.
They know Højlund's not going to hurt them. No. They know they haven't got the ability in tight areas. There's no Bruno there today to do anything. Set pieces, you know, they're one of the biggest teams in the league. Very organised, so they're not going to be hurt like that. I think we need to give a special mention with the goalkeeper as well, Raya. I mean, he's part of that back five. And I think he really helped him out with crosses today. Not necessarily the high ones that come over, but the low ones, if they do get in behind, he reads them very well and he cleans everything up and he kills the game. And they got booked late on, but that's all right.
Even the small,
no problem.
Even the small things as well, where probably this time last year, Arteta was probably jumping out of his technical area, desperate for the win, showing all, giving it all out, which makes, and then that transmits to the players. Today, it would have been fluttering inside because it's all about the win. But he looked calm. That's where I think Tim's saying, like, he's learned a lot from last season.
Well, they're getting better every season. Just will it be enough? Let's have a look at the goal. There was a lot of chat about Casemiro after the Crystal Palace game. And this is quite difficult to watch, this, isn't it?
It's lazy.
A man who's been as brilliant as him, not to sprint out, Don.
It's lazy. It's lazy, Mark. That's all it is.
So he's played Havertz onside by not sprinting out.
He doesn't even do too well from the cross. And I think if you're Wan-Bissaka as well, this is where he's got to really bust the gut now. Go on, go and sprint. You're only talking 5 yards to get level with Havertz.
He knows Havertz is there. He'll be seeing him peripherally.
And Havertz knows he's there.
Yes,
because he's
Havertz had a look.
But that's where he should be, probably a yard deeper. But play in that position, and then Havertz is offside. The whole move's killed. It's dead.
But he compounds it, doesn't he?
Yeah, but then I even think Wan-Bissaka, you've got to check your shoulders and look where Trossard. You must smell as a player. We're always checking our shoulders. You must smell and you must see that yellow shirt, that bright yellow shirt. You must smell that danger. Great run from Trossard. That's what makes the goal. But it's Havertz being onside and Casemiro being lazy, not putting the effort in to play him offside. It's so simple.
I think it's really good play from Havertz as well, because he sees where Casemiro is. He doesn't want to go too far towards the halfway line. No need, because he knows he's strolling out of there. So he just keeps himself just onside. But then when he picks the ball up, he hasn't got far to go to the byline. Don't like to be critical of Onana because I think he's had a decent season. He's one of the positives what have come out of Man United season. But Raya would have took that cross. He would have read that cross. He would have been pouncing on it. He would have helped the defenders. I agree. Wan-Bissaka's got to do better. So has Casemiro. Comedy of errors from Man United. Looked from there on that they would go on and take the game away from United, but didn't work out like that. Not because Man United were so good, it's because Arsenal just protected. This sort of performance is like the Invincibles used to do. It was almost like, we've got a game won, we don't need to win it again. Yeah. And that's exactly what they did. That reminded me of that great team, what Arsenal had in that Invincible season.
What about Garnacho then? Because he's been a bright spark this season. It was really interesting watching the game with you. Tell everybody what you were saying to me in terms of when you have that much pace, sometimes you need to slow yourself.
Yeah, I'm not going to criticise him too much because the young kid's been brilliant and he's played so many minutes this season. But what he's got to try and find in his game is that intelligence when to slow down.
Yeah.
If you think of Adama Traore, who's one of the quickest in the Premier League, he runs at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Garnacho's starting to do the same thing. He runs as fast as he can. And then he either gets knocked off balance or he's getting crowded out 2v1s. Sometimes you've got to slow down, find another red shirt, just pop it off. You can't take everyone on all of the time.
And here, take it on. You
take another couple of yards.
Yeah.
No one's closing
That was actually almost the best chance, wasn't it?
Then once he gets away, this is the very few times Arsenal allowed him to get in behind. But then find a red shirt.
So good. Saliba, so good.
Again, I'm not criticising him because he's a young kid that's going to get so much better. But look, it's 100 miles an hour. It's fast. He's electric.
Yeah.
But look, he's losing his balance.
Yeah. Do you know what he wants, Don? I mean, I agree. I think he's got a lot of development to do. Hopefully they keep holding, which they do. He's been a positive this year. But the Arsenal defenders hardly ever go to ground.
You wouldn't
Stay
dive
on
in,
their
would
feet.
you?
Yeah. You don't dive in because the boy wants you to. Because he takes any touch. He goes to ground far too easy. But like there, he's looking for a foul there. It's not a foul. He's just nudging him off the ball. It's clever defending. But they don't go to ground. They're taught how to defend. That is what Mikel wants. He wants composure in the defending as well as when they're controlling the football. Brilliant, Arsenal.
By the way, it was a good thing the game finished when it did, because you probably just saw that last shot there when Garnacho hit it wide, how much it was raining. It was chucking it down by the end, and Old Trafford needs a refit. We'll do. And it was pouring off, wasn't it? It was running down the...
Game would have been abandoned.
Chris Foy, who's gone home because he's got nothing to do, Chris said it would have been abandoned. The ball would not have been able to roll.
Yeah.
Goodness knows when they would have fitted that in. Right, come on then, let's have a bit of fun. Tottenham to do Arsenal a favour. That's what everybody wants.